Hi, welcome back. I'm in the middle of doing a Q&A video series. So I asked questions on my Instagram and had people, send me DMs about them so that I can answer all of your questions. And I'm just kind of going through these now and I'm doing individual videos for them. So have a little peek on my YouTube or on Instagram to kind of see some of my answers. So this one is, I can tell you because I'm looking at it now, how do I say no to clients? So this is a tricky one because so I started off with not a lot of money and had a child at home and I couldn't afford to go back to work because childcare costs were too high. So we needed the money as a family, but there's people who like to take the mick and you do your best to kind of balance the two. So I learned really quickly that you can say no. When it's your own business, I think that's one of the things I like about having my own business is the fact that I can say no. But you have to learn how to say no and where to draw the line. So it's not unreasonable for a client to ask you to do something that you've said that you're going to do. It may be annoying that life has gotten in the way. It may be difficult for you because you've decided you no longer want to do it, but you do have to uphold your sort of end of the contract, your end of the agreement. And I've seen a lot of people who kind of go, oh, well, I've decided that I'm moving away from my services now, so I don't want to provide this to them. And I'm like, well, is that fair on your clients to not give them notice because that's what's in your contract? And sort of that's the sort of point where I'm like, it's not a problem. You don't have a problem with saying no. You have a problem with the fact that you have moved on mentally, but you physically need to allow other people to move on or you're going to damage your reputation. So that's one side of the coin. On the other side of the coin, if you're being taken advantage of, a lot of virtual assistants or copywriters and things like that, they don't have set working hours because it's normally an output based thing, but it can turn into, especially with social media management, creation, etc., it can turn into like a sort of 24/7 thing. People send you something, go, I need this posted tomorrow, I need this posted now, I need this done now. And if you're not being paid on a retainer to do that, or if you're not even, it's not even about a retainer, if you're working all the hours under the sun and your retainer doesn't cover all the hours under the sun, then that's where you need to start saying no. Now, the way I look at it is this. If you don't want to work with that client anymore, you can obviously be a lot more strict and you can kind of go, I'm sorry, this isn't working for both of us. Let's offboard so that you can bring someone else on board that, is going to suit your business better. And to be honest, I don't necessarily, I've had very problematic clients who have messaged me at sort of my time, 11, 12, even 1 o'clock in the morning. And I've woken up at, say, 6 to take the kids to school. And between 1 and 6 in the morning, I've got 5 emails going, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? And I'm like, I'm not working between 1 and 6 in the morning. I haven't even picked up your email, nor have I said I'm going to do this. And it's problematic and it's not great for your mental health. And it's honestly not great for your business because you're spending a lot of time working on trying to handle them than you are actually working. So with people like that, I've just drawn the line and said, I don't think we're a good fit. You do not have to explain yourself. You do not have to justify why, etc., etc. You don't have to go into the ins and outs. You can literally just say, we are not a very good fit, so let's offboard. And if, for example, your contract says 4 weeks notice, then you've got to do 4 weeks notice, or you can offer them an out whereby they don't pay for the last month of your services, for example. So they pay everything that you've done up to this point, and then they don't pay for anything that's left, and then you don't work that period. Communication is really key here. A lot of people will try and push and be like, why not? Why not? Why not? You don't have to give an answer. You can literally just say, we are not the right fit. I don't think this is this isn't working for me. This isn't working for my business, etc., etc. I would try to steer clear of making up excuses that aren't true because sometimes they can kind of come out and then it makes you look like a bit of an a-hole. And the truth is you can just be honest and say that this isn't working. And you don't even have to say it's you, it's me, it's whoever it is. It doesn't have to, that's it. That's all you have to do. You just have to say no. It took me a long time to have the confidence to kind of do that and just say, it is what it is. Thank you so much for your time. But I've done it on numerous occasions. I had one client who wanted me to travel up to London, 4 or 5 times a week to come and take photos of his restaurant when I was doing social media management. And when I said no, because you have staff that are there that are able to do that, and that was not part of the agreement, you were supposed to be providing the photos. You know, like he tried to withhold payment and things like that. So what I did is I finished up under the notice and I ended the agreement as if you would end any other agreement. And that was the end of that. And he tried to get angry about it, but what's he going to do? Is he going to force me to, like, you can't force me to work for you. So, and I think that's the freedom that you get. That's the benefit that you get to having your own business. And that's the benefit that you get to running it yourself. So don't be afraid to say no. Now, that's what sort of what you want to do if you want to get rid of clients and say no to clients that you don't care about working with. Obviously, the line blurs when there's someone that you do want to work with and you have a great relationship with, or not a great relationship, but like even a good relationship, or you really need the money and you can't afford to let that client go right now. And if you're in that situation, it can be really hard because you don't want to damage the relationship, but you also don't want to be taken advantage of. And there's obviously 101 different scenarios for this. I would always say that's where when you're doing your proposals and your contracts, that's where you can really protect yourself. I like to include in contracts and proposals what I take ownership for and what I specifically don't. So it might be in the restaurant case, in that I was not providing photos or imagery for social media. And I put explicitly in there that is the responsibility of the client. I am still upholding my end of the contract by saying, sorry, that's not what we agreed. A lot of the time, if you're in an ongoing engagement and people are trying to ask you to do more things, the way that tends to work the most is go, oh, I'm really sorry. This was not part of our initial agreement. I'm happy to quote you to add that to our agreement and to draw up another proposal that works on top of that. And sometimes it works and you end up getting paid exactly what you're owed for the work that you're doing. In other cases, they never bring it up again. And in some cases they can get angry about it and say, but it should be included. But that is why stating what is not included is just as important as stating what is included. So that's that. I think if there's something that you're not comfortable with, or, you know, let's say you're taking holiday and your client says, well, you can't take holiday, and you haven't put anything in your contract and you've not protected yourself. The reality is that either you do it or you say no and you have to deal with the consequences. And you don't have to say, like, no, I'm not doing that and get angry about it. But you can say, I'm entitled to take a vacation. I've given you ample notice. You will have to find someone to do this, or I'm happy to work ahead of time in order to get things done. I think anytime you're telling a client no, if it's someone that you want to work with and have an ongoing relationship with, and the thing is if they are even remotely a reasonable person, if you offer an alternative or a compromise, 9 times out of 10 they'll take it. If they're an unreasonable client and you're only doing it for money, then my suggestion to you would be it's going to be more damaging to your mental health and your business long term to keep them on. Now, like I said, if you're doing it for money, then your focus should be just take it, because all you're going to do is you're going to run out the door the second you have someone better. So find that someone better. And sometimes it's not even worth the hassle saying no. You just don't, maybe if they're messaging you late at night, you just don't reply till the morning and you turn your phone off. And if they send you loads of emails, you reply and go, oh, sorry, I was asleep. Like, what are they going to do? Nothing. So I think saying no can be really hard, and it depends on the circumstances. If you don't care about the relationship, say no, and you literally don't have to say anything else. If you do care about the relationship and you want to continue it on, and they're reasonable people, then compromise. Like, sometimes we're the assholes. Like, I've not been very well. The last 3 weeks, I've had 2 kids with chickenpox, half term at school, and now I'm sick. I don't know if you can tell. I've got cold, and I'm not very well. And I've had to let a few people down, and I hate doing it. But I've had to say, look, I can get this done tomorrow morning. I'm sorry I will not meet today's deadline. I will get it done tomorrow morning. And, you know, you get things done. But, you know, you can't do anything about the assholes of the world. That's the reality. Someone is either going to be that way or not. All you can do is be confident in yourself be professional, understand that you are entitled to set boundaries for your business, for your health, for, I mean, literally anything. Consent is key. You cannot be forced to do something you don't want to do, and that is the joy of having your own business, and that's the key benefit when we're working all the hours under the sun, that you can say no. So my advice to anyone who is struggling to say no in their business is to just feel empowered and confident that you are entitled to say no. And if you want to, you know, if you want to burn a bridge, burn a bridge. And if you don't. There's always a way to talk around it. And I think worry less about them dumping you as a VA. Worry less about, you know, ruining an entire relationship because you've said one thing that doesn't necessarily work with what they want. So, yeah, most people are reasonable. So if you need a hand with saying no or coming up with a way to reply to someone, please feel free to drop it in the comments and I'll try and come up with a creative way of saying no for you. Or drop me a message on Instagram and I'll see if I can help. Just know that you are entitled to do that. You're entitled to say no. And that's all I've got to say on the matter. Okay.